Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to FM24 Youth Factory. This is episode number 11. We continue on with our season, only pushing forward a single match, but things have changed in that match. We have moved to the top of the league and managed to get a game in hand against Gloucester. That's big. But this is a big opportunity to lose points because all season long we have struggled against teams at the top of the league, including against Wealdstone, who we now play a second time around this season. And Adekunle puts that free kick, curls it, bends it, nearly in, but hits the outside of the post. And Penreath from the opposite side, laid off inside, Redknapp. Wow, how's that a penalty? It looked like he got ball, but maybe not. Maybe Redknapp chipped it up over him, and the guy took his legs out. And they saved the penalty. Wow, big stop from the keeper there. I'm 0 for 2 on penalties here in FM24 now, or at least from what I remember of them. And Penreath losing that one. Dixon, nice recovery there. Good pressure too. 3 guys collapsing in on him, and he had nowhere to go. No one open, no teammates around. Atkins finds Mortland. Mortland through for Davidson. Davidson in close, and that's out for a corner. We got to win against bottom side. Gloucester not scoring points. Hassel scoring the free kick, the corner kick there. Goes far post. Free header. Totally unchallenged for him. They got 4 guys there coming up on him. One jumps up to try to head it away, but cannot get anything on it. And inside 10 minutes with already 4 attempts on goal, we lead 1-0. But here's their first big chance. And that one is eventually cleared away, but definitely they got their own free header there in the box on a corner kick and have already started to battle back into this game. Amazing that we had that missed penalty and that first goal all in such a short period of time. But here's McFadden overloading that left-hand side, crossing to Davidson at the far post, and Davidson heads it over. He was challenged that time. He gets a piece but can't get it cleanly. McFadden does not get there first. They're going to get a chance at this, but take it poorly. Interesting game so far. Very close. Back to the point of we have struggled against teams in the top side. We've only had 1 win all season, losing all the rest. And Turner beats his man at the far post. Rises up above him. Looks like he was a bit taller. I'm assuming that was McFadden there trying to mark him. Really good cross in, but McFadden needed to do better to get a body on him. Julian just over his head, reacts a little too slowly to it, and we're level. And the struggles against top sides continues. We crush everybody else in the league. We've only dropped points a single time this season, or maybe twice now. We definitely had our bad run of form last time out, but just momentarily one bad run of form with injuries. Penreath clears that away. Adekunle loses it though, offside, and yes, flag is raised. 1-1 is the hardest one to try to get your team up for, as there's still so much on the line, but all 11 fired up for the second half. Let's see if we can take advantage here. Mortland on a yellow. We'll have to be wary of that. I'm not sure if I got Primus on the bench or not. I suppose we do have Thornhill out there who could drop back into the midfield, but suddenly we've played an hour, and suddenly we've only had 1 shot attempt since the first 20 minutes of the game. Might need to make an adjustment, as it's been not them dominating, but it's still been all... Oh, man, Penreath. Okay, we're going to get him out of there. Nice pass there. Thornhill, Davidson! Goal! What a huge goal. Really nice pass. Good use of space there. Lanahan Penreath definitely gets that one started. You could tell he's struggling there, but Thornhill just gets a nice strong first touch, realizing the defender was already retreating and using that to cover that space a little bit and get him in position to then set up Davidson. Nice, easy pass, and Davidson puts it away. Atkins back to Redknapp. He's onside. All the way to the corner. Back into him. That one was a lot closer. But the counterattack is on. And they draw level. Seconds later, they had us on an extra man, and we kept covering off the move for them to then move on to the next one, for them to move on to the next one, and that is a absolute blunder. Not seeing the number on who that was. I thought it said number 5. It might have been Kitching, 15. Kitching marking his man poorly as his teammates made the adjustments in matchups. He did not, and the guy who got the eventual goal should have been covered there. Free kick, midfield, McFadden, partial clearance. Jones loses it, and they're in close again. Turner, inside, wide. A draw is probably the right result here. Atkins and Mortland both on yellows now. And I think with how we've played, we'll have to kind of be happy with the draw, but it's not going to be. Are you kidding me? Here we are again. Were they onside? Leahy is just onside, and so is Dixon. Both center backs reacting too slow to that move. Perfectly timed, perfectly placed. And here we are, yet again, against a top side in the league, unable to see out a result. We've had the lead twice in this game. We've missed a penalty in this game. We've kicked the ball off our own teammate on that particular play. McFadden with the cross. That's cleared away, though, out for a corner kick. And the flag's raised. Really? And time's up. I only made the one sub, but holy crap. This team, this season, just cannot see out games against other teams near the top of the league. They just do not have the right mentality at the right time. This should have been a comfortable victory, beginning with Penreese, finishing off the penalty. We should have been up 2-0 inside the first 10 minutes. Instead, we find ourselves at 1-1 a while later. And then we take the lead in the 60th with a fantastic goal to immediately turn around and give up the equalizer. And then over the last half hour, they straight up beat us. Obviously, the XG from the penalty amounted for a lot of what we got. And 2-2 on paper is the right result. I would have been happy with 2-2. No points. Again. The only good news, this was our game in hand. We still have the lead in the league following this, but disappointing nonetheless. There's a new staff position in Football Manager 24, and that is the set piece coach. We do not have one. We do not have availability for one. I'm going to go ahead and request the board that we can hire one. And with all the money we have, this is an odd one, but apparently the board is considering the money we have dedicated to a new stadium. Must be the only logical assertion with this one, because they have rejected the set piece coach based on finances. In what will be the final match of the January transfer window, just a few days before the window closes, we get a chance at redemption. Another top side clash, this time against Sudbury, another team that we have struggled with this season because, well, we've struggled with everybody at the top. We've only had one win in 6 tries now. It's just so weird. I mean, obviously, better teams are better teams, and they are more likely to give you trouble, right? It's not like it's that perplexing. But for a team that's favorites in the league, for a team that has better quality, better talent than those around us at the top of the league, It's just weird that we are having this much trouble consistently to see out games, especially ones, like that last one where we led not once but twice. Free kick given for some reason. Was it an offside? He looked pretty level with the back line, but either way, it's been all us in the early stages of this one. But here is their first chance at the half-hour mark. Julian forced into a save there. Looked like it was headed out, but he covered off that near post just in case. They get another shot at it. He win the header, but it goes over. And Pedri's free kick. We get a piece of that one, but can't get anything on it. It's directed in the direction of goal, and that was about it. Long ball there. Kitching loses out. After a deflection or two, Julian eventually pounces on it. And we're approaching halftime with .03 XG. Well, let's go ahead and do the set pieces thing. We're not doing anything in open play right now. The tactics that have been so flawless for many, many seasons now suddenly is struggling. But only against top teams. We could win 6-0 against a team in the bottom half of the league. Into the second half, and things are goalless here. Neither team looking threatening to get a goal. Opposition with 2 yellow cards now. Fortunately, we have none. Adekunle, the only player other than Hassel with a 7.0 rating for us, as we've just struggled to impact the game in a meaningful way at all. This might be time to change shape a little bit and try to create an overload somewhere. This is... Oh, that was offside. No flag raised. What the hell? The guy went way before the ball was passed. And we trail. Andrews, the what? No. Oh, gosh, he is on. We just don't react to it at all. Redknapp watches him running and just stands there. Meanwhile, I get that Kitching's not going to see this, and Kitching's already trying to retreat for the move, but Redknapp makes an absolute meal of that thing, and that's it. Here we are, trailing once again. And Penrith, who's been playing the week injured, is definitely a bit extra fatigued as a result. He was cleared to play, but not really good for 90, so we're going to go ahead and get him out of there. And before he goes, he equalizes. It's 1-1. That resembled their goal in many ways with the inside forward kind of cut. Goes outside, goes inside. Definitely onside. I mean, he's never even behind the guy until well after the ball is played. And just gets the first touch. Well done there, and we are now level, back in it. Can we do something? I've already changed up the formation a little bit. We're going to drop to attacking instead of very attacking. Kitching heads that away. Oh, come on. That's an easy save. How does Julian miss that? Does he not see it? There's absolutely no power on that ball. It rolls so damn slowly. And here we are. 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row with this time not a lead. This time it's equalizing, but getting the goal and immediately turning around and giving up another. Redknapp. Adekunle. The cross. The goal. Archie Jones, who came in for Lanahan Penrith, gets his 5th of the season. And we're level once again. I think we've got to go for it now. Not settling for a point. The way we just gave it up, and I think we have to stay attacking here. We've struggled so much. We've missed out so many times. 1 point's just not enough. We need to come away with 3 points if possible here. It's 2-2, and there isn't even a goal of XG for either team at this point. Atkins now on a yellow. Nice pass there. But we go back to the defense. Julian. Long ball given away. Starts the counterattack. I don't know how we keep getting beat so easily on those counters. Ugh, Gregory intercepts that one. That was headed for the far post. It's a little too close inside. Jones, nice job getting there and retreats well. Where's the yellow card? Oh my gosh, he's ripped down. The only reason why we were able to... That should have been an advantage and should have been a yellow card after the fact. Stoppage time. Redknapp. Ooh. Heads it to Julian. Initially, it didn't look like it was going to be as comfortable a ball for him to pick up as it was. Kitching. Atkins. Now Hassel. Mortland's not there, but this is what's allowed us to start overloading at the offensive end. Because there's Mortland, who nearly sets us up for the winner with that being pushed up situation. But time is up. This could be the final kick of the game. Flags raised, offside. There it was. That was it. Final kick of the game. We didn't get beat. We came from behind. In a 50-50 game. 2/3 possession, but the chances were 50-50. At least we got a point today. But just our team this season really, really struggling just against those top six. There's other teams around us in the standings, but that's too many points that were given away. We could be miles ahead in the league, even if we just won half of them. Gloucester drew with Dartford, goalless draw. That keeps us on top. Maidenhead's 3 points back now. Gap behind is definitely a little smaller than it had been after 2 difficult games where we only managed to salvage a single point from those 2 games. A lot of season left to play, though. And the good news is we've just started the second half of the season, and we've already played 3 of the top teams. There's less and less remaining opportunities to play those top teams, and we seem to be beating everybody else just fine. We've only dropped points, once or twice against anyone outside of the top. It's now Sunday the 27th, so we've got that few days to go here in the window, and that's what the rest of this episode is going to be dedicated to, is can we get through this period without giving up anything else. So far, Adekunle is the most likely to leave, and that is because the offers have been coming in thick and fast, and we've been getting the occasional, most of them have been insufficient. They have not been enough, but there have been 2 offers so far that were good offers that I had to, in good faith, negotiate, and I negotiated both of them. But when adding in the loan back option, both teams pulled out of those deals. So right now, desperation on deadline day could push a team into a yes on that type of situation. If we're already getting offers that are big enough, I wouldn't be surprised if Adekunle is likely to be lost to us. The good news with that is he really isn't our top player. He's not having a very good season, actually. But in terms of actual quality, current ability, he is top. In fact, he's the best player we've now ever had at the club at any given time with a 116 current ability. But Mortland, Kitching, Lanahan, Ben Rees, Hassel are all 100 plus as well. Thornhill's at a 99. Davidson's now a 96 and a 90. There's quality. There's quality. We would miss him, obviously, but I think we'd be just fine, especially if we promote. I think we'd be just fine, without him moving on to the next player. Only problem there, Kasungo Mutombo, who is currently the next player, he's limited. More likely, I think Lanahan Penrys would push to right wing. Wilkinson would take over at left wing. And then, so there's your drop-off. A 116 down to a 90. Wilkinson's been okay, but he's definitely not been Adekunle level. So yeah, that's the nature of the beast, right? We regularly lose guys, and it's not uncommon, and losing one wouldn't be so bad. More money for the club here. Craig McDonald, our former attacking mid, now a 23-year-old striker, has just signed with Hull for $8.5 million transfer fee. Subject to conditions, it may eventually rise to $10.25 million. We get 50% of the revenue of that $8.5 million. So we get 3.3 with an extra close to $1 million coming in installments. Where we sold him to initially was Middlesbrough. It's actually quite a disappointing deal because when McDonald left us for a $10,000 fee, his value at Middlesbrough instantly jumped to $29 million. McDonald is the second best potential ability player that we've ever lost. Second best. So this is actually a very disappointing transfer. That's not nothing, and hey, we're getting millions of dollars, so that's nice and all, but it's not what one would have expected from his career after leaving Middlesbrough. How are things looking for him? Well, we've continued to scout him so we can get a good look. His first touch is very nice. His technique is very nice. The determination and flair are near perfect. Vision is very high. The mentals are great. But he's slow. Very slow. And his finishing is not great. This season, he just had 4 bench appearances in the championship for Middlesbrough. Hopefully, for him at Hull, things will go better. In fact, the 4 bench appearances for him at Middlesbrough have been his only 4 appearances for the club. He's gone on loan to Leyton Orient. He's gone on loan to Gillingham, Bristol Rovers. He's now spent the last 2 years with the senior club, finally getting the breakthrough this season, but not doing anything good yet. He can play on top as striker or in that attacking mid role that he played for us or in the center of the pitch. Not good finishing. I would definitely play him in the lower 2 positions. But maybe that's the problem. They want him to be a striker. He just doesn't have the quality of a striker. And so he's got significantly less value than he once had. Clearly, though, a guy who was an 88, 163 when he left us, he's not an 88 anymore. I mean, he's far better than any player that I've got. Lanahan Penreese is one of our top guys. Adekunle is our top guy, and he's a full star better than either of them, according to our scouts. So he's got to be a 125, 130 plus at this stage. Definitely not to his potential yet, and he's only 23. He's still got a chance to get there, but still just disappointing. I mean, he's played for Scotland more times than he's played in the championship, and it's been 5 years since McDonald left. 5 years, and he's not managed to do anything. He's got national reputation already. He's got a driven personality. How has he not found more success than this? That's really surprising. Really surprising. We're into the final day of January. Fingers crossed. The offers have been coming in really for half a dozen players. So there's a lot of interest out there in a lot of guys. And there's unrest in the squad. Davidson missed training just yesterday, expecting that he's going to get a deal. And you can see just, how much is coming in just here in the morning, just in a half-hour stretch. We are picking up a number of offers. But, in the case of Wilkinson, it's nothing. Easy to reject. But like I said, there's a lot of interest for a lot of guys. We're in for a busy day, potentially. And just here, first thing in the morning, Adekunle, this is over the mark. It's a big enough offer that I kind of have to do something with it. So Rotterdam is the latest now to come in, but we can push the envelope higher, and hopefully they'll back down. Deal canceled, the loan back, the sticking point now on all 3 attempted negotiations. But again, it's early morning. I expect there to be more teams to come in, and maybe Rotherham coming back later in the day. As morning has become afternoon, I'm up to about 10 players that we're now getting offers on throughout this process, throughout this day. But again, nothing else has come in above the mark. So at least there's that. But this is getting trickier as, again, here's another round of offers for Davidson, but none of them coming in above the mark. So easy enough to just reject and keep pushing back. Biggest thing, though, is the conflict that this creates within the team, the unrest that it creates in players that are going, hey, that's a championship side. They want me to play for them. You're in the National League South. Like, come on, let me go. And that adds to our challenge of trying to get promoted when everybody actually wants our players and we don't move on from them. Without transfer policies, with the ban, can't afford to let these guys go. So it definitely adds to the challenge of the series for sure. Early evening, Rotherham have come back once again, but they decide to walk away from the negotiations. The finances are very close to what they're offering. I'm not pushing that very far. The percentage of profit they are fine with. It's the loan back. They want him here. They want him now. They don't want to wait until June or August, whatever, summer. They don't want to wait till summer to get him. They want him right now. And that's the sticking point that's, for now, getting them to walk away. And for me, that was the sticking point on our minimum security that I kind of said, well, we need guys to help us finish out seasons, and then we replace them season by season, not lose them immediately. So that's the one thing that I'm pushing that so far is allowing us to hang on to our guy. But as the day wears on, there's still potential for more offers to come in for sure. 9:15 in the evening, Rotherham keep coming back. They're increasing the money just a little bit each time, but every time I lock in that loan back length, they immediately cancel and then come back an hour later trying to offer more money. It feels like Rotherham's just not going to happen, but that doesn't mean that some other team's not going to come sweeping in here in the final minutes. But getting down to the final minutes, we might just get out of this thing in one piece, except for the fractured mentality of half the squad. And we've made it to morning. No players lost this year. That's a surprise. That's a definite surprise. I figured somebody else besides Rotherham would come in. There was a couple other teams that were really, really pushing the valuation side of it, and I figured they would come in, but neither one came in with a single offer on deadline day. Mortland, we got close on. Lanahan Penrith, we got close to the valuation of those two players, but didn't exceed. And so it just ended up a game without a Kudlay, where Rotherham just wouldn't. I wouldn't budge on the loan back, and they wouldn't budge on that being an acceptable component of the deal. It's amazing how much we struggled in the month of January, and yet Lanahan Penrith wins Player of the Month with 7 goals in 5 appearances and an assist. And Paul Davidson finishes second with 4 goals and 5 assists in the month, and yet we still couldn't take more points. However, during the course of the month of January, we did move from second in the league to first in the league. There was that. We certainly were better than Gloucester, but I didn't think we were top of the league by any stretch over that month. We just happened to be better than the direct competitor. Others, I think, were better than both of us. Transfer window survived. Lanahan Penrith is first in the league in goals. Davidson is second in the league in goals. Both of them are also 1 and 2 in average rating for the league. Lanahan Penrith is second in player of the match. We've moved back to the top of the league. As bad as those last couple matches of the month were for us, only getting 1 point out of those out of the pair, we still find ourselves in a better position than we were on New Year's Day. We're also past the point where things are crazy just in the last week or two, I had a couple of players who had been upset about previous stuff from the beginning of the year get over it. So mentality is starting to improve. We had at least one new player, though, I think 2 new players, that were upset over offers close to the deadline that we didn't accept, and therefore I think we're about neutral on where we were. Hopefully some of the guys get over it fairly soon. We are carrying 1 injury right now in Wilkinson, but it's minor. He'll be back in a few days. Atkins, yellow card suspension, typical of our defensive mids, as they pick up a lot of yellows and the majority of our reds. That gives Primus another chance to start. And I'm starting to get to a point, to a phase, where there's a lot of U21s and U18s that are somewhere in the 60s to low 70s range, which means, right there around the Kasungo Mutombo to Mark Walker period. So there's a lot more options becoming available to the bench. Not first 11 guys, not your first bench guys, but available players to play in a pinch, and definitely, better than the great kind of options and the 50-somethings that we've relied on for a long time. Can that help push us over the edge? I don't know. I do not know. Trading rating, though, has dropped off for a number of guys because of the whole, we're wanted by everybody. I mean, the WNT, that's wanted, and you can see it's the entire freaking senior squad, red nap and above. That's creating a bit of a problem for us with a number of unhappy players out there. In terms of playing time, the only unhappy player, only unhappy by a bit, just kind of recent. So we need to make sure we get him an appearance here in the near future. But he's hurt, so gonna have to wait a little bit for that. All in all, things are going well. Just the one big concern is finishing off the games against the big teams. Eking out draws so you don't lose ground versus straight up giving them wins, right? Them getting 3 points and us getting 0. Otherwise, we'd be well ahead in this league right now. We're into the second half. We're into an easier stretch on the calendar where we just played a multitude of difficult games at the very beginning of the second half. Schedule's going to lighten up a bit. What does February have in store for us? 18th, 23rd, both on the road though. 9th at home, 16th on the road, 21st. That could be a good month. If we could take all the points this month, 3 on the road, 1 good team. Torquay is one of the teams that I think gave us a hard time previously, but that was when they were in the playoff zone. They're not there now. They've dropped down. They've dropped in form. But if we can come through the month of February with players healthy, mentality improving, and claiming points, we could have ourselves a nice little lead heading into the final 2 full months of the season, plus Hemel Hempstead right there at the end. But otherwise, that's a good place to be. And, come down the stretch. There's Gloucester. There's Real Bedford. Lewis is 10th. There's Gosport's 17th. Dartford's 8th. Bromley is 6th. There's one to watch out for. Maidenhead. It's the final month plus, just before the end of March there. That way you can expect some challenges. The next 10 games or so, I think we can expect at least 8 wins. And that could get us some breathing space at the top of the league. Fingers crossed that's what we're able to do, and that's what we're going to watch for in the next episode. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.